Chapter 1. 1001. Basan's expression was truly crazed. The spirit pressure that was coming out of this corpse alone was at the sanctuary level. If he were to absorb all of it, his own powers would improve drastically for sure. If he were to absorb all of it, his own powers would improve drastically for sure. With the level Basan was currently at, he might be able to advance to a higher one altogether. It was honestly fair that he was so overwhelmed with emotion. Do you see that? Can you feel it? That's what my ancestors have left behind for me. I shall be the most powerful existence under the sky, and all of you scumbags are going to die, Basan shouted. Just then, Wilbur's focus had been occupied by the corpse. It looked like it belonged to a middle-aged man. According to Basan's description, however, the owner of the corpse was thousands of years old. On top of that, the corpse's body and face seemed to have been kept in a pretty good condition despite the passage of time. More importantly, there was a perfectly whole crystal sternum on the corpse. It was the sternum of the crystal bones belonging to the unidentified species that Wilbur had found. A complete sternum would contain energy that was even more powerful. Wilbur was about to guess the gist of what happened then. An ancestor of Basan's tribe had discovered this crystal sternum and chose to fuse it with his own body to preserve his corpse to this day. Much of the energy from the crystal sternum had been absorbed, but it still continued to flow out and wash over the corpse all this while. Basan took in the sight, his expression overwhelmed with emotion. Goma shouted as well. "We found it, Dad. You're going to be the strongest man there ever was. The world's going to be ours." Basan laughed wildly, unable to hide his joy. Wilbur let out a small sigh. Just then, the corpse in the coffin jerked. Basan and Goma were shocked, as was Ryder. Wilbur was the only one who remained emotionless, as if he had long been prepared for this moment. Amidst Basan and Goma's shock, the corpse sat up slowly to cast a hazy stare at the four people in the room. Basan scrambled to kneel, his voice shaky. "You're still alive, honorable ancestor?" Goma got on his knees as well in terror. Someone who had been said to have passed thousands of years ago had revived all of a sudden. Anyone would find it hard to remain calm. Rinchen Finston, the corpse, raised his hands and peered at them before letting out a dull breath. "What year is it now?" asked Rinchen in a slightly muffled voice. It was clear that his bodily functions had not completely returned quite yet. Amidst his shock, Basan said, "It's the year 2023 now, honorable ancestor." 2023, Rinchen said, blinking slowly. "It's been over 3,000 years. He began to move his body as he spoke, trying to get out of the coffin. Just then, however, Basan's expression flashed viciously from where he had his head bowed. He roared out loudly, and the superstone giant came stomping over, swinging an enormous fist toward Rinchen. "How are you still alive? Why?" Basan shouted at the top of his lungs as he stood up interrogating this ancestor of his. Wilbur stared at him coldly, shaking his head in silence. Honestly, Wilbur knew what Basan was thinking.